think everyone is here, and it is good to start our webinar today. So I will start by saying good morning, greetings to everyone. And I would like to extend my warm welcome to all of you who has come to participate in our Taiwan and Newtown Green Trends webinar. I would like to share a few tips that would help us get better experience of the webinar. As I have mentioned earlier, once again, I will invite all of you to turn on your camera and turn off your microphone. This way, our speakers and distinguished guests will be able to see your faces. And also because today we have a larger meeting. So having your microphone turned off is very important as our speaker will be able to present without disturbance. Secondly, as all of you who has participated this webinar very regularly would know that during our speaker's presentation, if you have any feedback or ideas or even queries that you would like to share with us, please feel free to type in the Zoom chat box. Okay, so please feel free to type in the Zoom chat box, and by the end of the event, we will be having a Q&A social session. During this end of the session, you will be able to speak to our speakers directly if there's any questions or queries you would like to get answers from them, or any kind of discussions and feedback we are happy to hear. Without further ado, before starting the meeting, I would also like to mention something, that it is truly an honor to have all of us here today. But other than Taipei World Trade Center Kolkata office hosting the event and promoting the event, Mr. Wilbur Wang from Taipei World Trade Center Mumbai office has also putting a lot of effort helping to organize and promote the event. So here from our office, we have to give a special thank to Wilbur. Thank you for your help that we can all be here today together. Now, once again, without further ado, I would like to start the meeting by introducing our distinguished guests and speakers today. First, I would like all of you to have a well round of applause to Ms. Elena Huilin Li. She is the Executive Vice President of Taipei World Trade Center in our headquarters in Taiwan. She will be giving us a welcome address. 副秘书长听得到声音吗？
我想说你介绍完所有讲师，然后副秘再致辞好了，因为副秘致辞完会介绍完所有讲师。
好的 OK 好 So then also we have Sri Debashish Sen, who is the chairman of Newtown Kolkata Development Authority. He will be sharing with us Newtown and its green opportunities today. Thirdly, Ms. Ambalika Ganguly, who is the Trade Promotion Specialist in Taitra Kolkata office. Today, she will be sharing with us the Taiwan green energy industry, the insights and introductions. Ambalika, can you please say hi to everyone?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining in this morning.
No, you didn't turn on your microphone.
Yes, your microphone is off.
Can you hear me now?
No, it's all right. You tried to turn on the microphone. Mr. Sen, sir, are you able to hear me clearly?
Yes.
Yes, please say hi to everyone. This is...
Hi, good morning.
Yes. Okay, and also, last but not least, we have Ms. Ritika Nandi, who is also a trade promotion specialist in Taitra Kolkata office. She will be sharing with us the Taiwan e-vehicle industry and e-mobility 2035, which is a very renowned exhibition in Taiwan. Ritika, please say hi to everyone. Are you able to hear me?
Yes. Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining this webinar today.
Wonderful. Then I would like to...
I think I can introduce myself once again.
Okay, Ambalika, yes, please.
I could reconnect back finally. Thank you everyone for joining in this morning. This is Ambalika. I'll be presenting the green energy this morning.
Okay, thank you so much. So now I would like to invite the Vice President of Taipei World Trade Center from Taiwan to please share with us your welcome address.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm Elena Lee, Executive Vice President of Taiwan External Trade Development Council, also known as TAITRA. It's my great honor and so excited to welcome you all to the Taiwan and India New Town Green Trend webinar in Kolkata today. India is the world's largest democracy, see many common traits with Taiwan and its democratic structures. In the past couple of decades, Taiwan and India have grown fond of democratic and each other and gradually build a beautiful friendship. People from the two countries exchange the essence of arts, literature, technology, education, and furthermore, opportunities in the trade and business. Through many different platforms, there is no doubt that strengthening bilateral ties have necessitated this development. Much like Taiwan, West Bengal is a city full of joy and love. We see incredible potential in our shared future and hope that this webinar is just a start of many more collaborations that may come year after. I'm also glad that Mr. Debashi Singh, the chairman of Newtown Kolkata Development Authority, is able to participate in this webinar today. We had the opportunity to invite him to visit our Computex exhibition a few years back in Taiwan. He is always warm and friendly. He has given constant support to our Kolkata office. I learned from Stephen Liu, the director of our Kolkata office, that Newtown will have an EV Caliber Eco Park from tomorrow to 26. I sincerely wish you a successful event in advance. And thank you again, Mr. Tabasi Sen, for your support as always. We look forward to the continuance of our affiliation. Since the Paris Agreement, many countries have announced plans to ban sales of petrol and diesel vehicles between 2025 and 2050 to reduce the carbon emissions. With this feature inside and the strong foundation in the semiconductor and ICT industries, advanced manufacturing and software programming, Taiwan has demonstrated its place as a major supplier in the global high-tech and automotive industries. Taiwan-based companies, including TSMC, TECO, Kolkata, and Comex are some of the largest providers of Tesla's components. Meanwhile, Taiwanese manufacturers such as Delta, Pegatron, and Quanta have long been the trusted suppliers for top car makers in countries like the US, Europe, and Japan. As a matter of fact, a Taiwanese e-bus company, Master Transportation Bus Manufacturing Limited, has also joined today's webinar. Coming to India, it expects to increase EV penetration from 1% to 10% by 2025. With the population of 1.37 billion, a demographic dividend, and large subsidies for EVs from both the central and state governments. Taiwanese suppliers are keen to share this opportunity to upgrade India's EV supply chain. India's EV supply chain lacks energy systems such as battery cells, power exchange, and smart charging power systems. Taiwanese suppliers already supply these three systems. There is Gogoro battery replacement, automotive power system for Delta Electronics, Fukuda Motor, TECO, and Chroma cooperation. Also, Cellcom cooperation and Gymtex MBIoT module. Digital electronics and the software are two key elements of EVs. Combining Taiwan's electronics expertise with Indian software capabilities can bring change and upgrades to India's EV supply chain. Now to shed light on Taiwan's green energy industry, The Taiwanese government has been encouraging industries to undergo a green energy transition and aims to have at least 20% of the nation's power supply by renewable source by 2025, and further propose accomplishing the goal of net zero emissions transition by 2050, sensing great potential in the renewable energy market. Taiwanese businesses have come to invest in the market and continue to attain remarkable results. Taiwanese companies have created unparalleled renewable energy solutions by taking a research and development focused approach. This has been successful as the country now rated as the world's second biggest photovoltaic cell and LED producing country. India ranked third in the renewable energy country attractiveness index in 2021. The country has set an ambitious target to achieve a capacity of 175 gigawatt worth of renewable energy by the end of 2022, which expands to 450 gigawatt by 2030. This is the world's largest expansion plan in renewable energy. India's demand for development and Taiwan's willingness to share its expertise have led the two countries to become strategically complementary, a fact that is being leveraged for mutual progress and benefit. This is an initiative by the TAICHA, and we are planning year-round activities in the India to promote closer cooperation. Thank you everyone for having me. Hope you have a great webinar.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much once again. This is Elena Huiling Li, the Executive Vice President from Taipei World Trade Center from Taiwan. Next, I will be inviting Sri Debashis Sen. Sir, please share with us your insight on Newtown and its green opportunities. I will be sharing your PowerPoint. Are you able to see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, wonderful. Then, sir, please take it from here.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Ms. Elena Lee and Mr. Steven and Mr. Tahui and Ambalika and everybody. We will talk about Newtown and its green city, and I thank you for giving this opportunity. At the beginning, however, I must correct that we are having an EV carnival, not tomorrow, as Ms. Lee said. It was scheduled to happen from tomorrow, but because of the rains, it has been shifted 1 week later from the 1st of October. So any of you who are in Calcutta, or if you know somebody in Calcutta, please ask them to join in and see this electric vehicle carnival. It's a carnival where we have fun with the family, with the electric car, and try to understand its implications. More of that later. Next. My first slide just says that Newtown has been rated as a gold certificate in 2018, and what is not given here, it has subsequently got the platinum certificate in 2020. 2020, as you know, was the year of pandemic, only last year. And even within that, we had got the platinum certificate. And we are very keen and serious about retaining our platinum status, which will be valid for 5 years. Next. So a few very quick points about Newtown. It's a green city. As I said, we are certified green city, platinum rated certified green city. and we take sustainable development very seriously. We have made zero shop, we are zero waste shop, we are segregating solid waste, we are recycling plastic, and we are trying to sell used clothes to the youth, not because they cannot afford it, because one pair of jeans takes thousands of liters of water to make. We are serious about sustainable development, and we are definitely electric vehicle friendly. Not only because of the carnival, because we are running buses from HITCO, we are running a lot of charging stations from NKDA, and we are encouraging people to switch from fossil fuel vehicles to electric vehicles. Newtown is also a smart city. There are 100 smart cities in India, and Newtown is one of them. And one new innovation in this smart city that we have done is a working pod that has just been opened, since work from home is now the norm. But many Indian homes are not suitable for working. Father, mother, son, daughter, everybody working online creates a confusion. In the residential neighborhoods, we are making happy working pods, and it is becoming very popular. Newtown is also a happy city. 3 years ago, Newtown had tied up with IIT Kharagpur. The Indian Institute of Technology Kharagpur has a Center of Excellence on Happiness, and we asked them to make a study. And by making this study, we have been rated as one of the happiest city in and around Kolkata. It is residents are happier than in Kolkata, and there is a helpline, 24/7 helpline. There is an eco park, there is a business club, there's a swimming pool, there's a badminton court. We like to keep Newtown a work-life balance. You can work well, you can enjoy your life and recreation well, and that is how Newtown is becoming a happy city. Newtown is also a business-friendly city. All our municipal services, all birth certificate to death certificate, mutation to many other services like building permit, building sanction, occupancy certificate, everything is given online. And nowadays, recently, allotment of plots for business purposes like in technology sector and in financial sector, it is being done through the web. So like you buy on the Amazon portal your favorite book, you can buy your favorite or suitable plot for your business or in an online manner from Taiwan or anywhere else that you stay in, anywhere in the world. And it is a web-friendly allotment process that the government of West Bengal has recently adopted. To give a perspective, the size of Newtown is 30 square kilometers. It is close to the Kolkata International Airport. Its present population is estimated to be 62,000. However, it is designed for 100,000 population, which will be reached perhaps in 5 to 7 years' time. Next. I mentioned about the fact that we keep a very deep space for the work-life balance. On the left is a real picture of a group of tech employees of TCS. TCS is Tata Consultancy Services, one of the largest tech companies in India. And we found there very, very specialized technical people in the eco park of Newtown, playing song and guitar and enjoying life. And of course, we have in the same eco park in Newtown, one of the largest urban parks in Asia and perhaps the world. We also have a 9-hole golf course. So, and it is very close to the commercial business district where there is a fintech hub and the Bengal Silicon Valley. Next. So the key factors that gives an opportunity for others to come in are the following: the plug and play infrastructure. We have already seen that 62,000 people are staying. There are many more houses. All the infrastructure is developed, and even allotment in certain cases for business purposes is given online. So it is very, very plug and play infrastructure. You just have to come in and start your business if you want to. We believe in clustering, especially in the matter of technology and especially in the matter of finances, in the matter of educational institutions, in the matter of health institutions. We believe that banks like to come together. We believe that Silicon Valley, Wall Street, and City of London, all these places, if similar businesses come together, more synergy is produced and more productivity is the result. That is why our whole architecture, the town planning architecture, is built around clustering. Data centers. With more and more post-COVID work from home, there is an increasing demand on online services, and localized online services is the norm because there is no need for drawing long lines and transmission cables for conveying data. So in the eastern part of India, facing the South Asia and Southeast Asia, close to the Northeast India, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, and other places, we consider that New Town is a very, very good place for a data centers. And in the Silicon Valley, we have a large number of data centers coming up. And very recently, the government of West Bengal has announced a data center policy to encourage setting up of more data centers. Indeed, we want New Town to be the data center capital of Eastern India. We also have a multi-storied car parking. It is not worth mentioning especially, but still I am mentioning because we think of doing infrastructure ahead of the demand. We don't create parking place when there is a terrific traffic jam and there is a congestion tax and cars go round and round without finding any space. So we, even though there is at the moment quite enough space for parking cars, we are planning for a very, very large multi-storied car parking space in 1 or 2 areas so that congestion does not become a norm. And also, a key factor is that it is the only city in India, I cannot say about other places, where the local municipal government, that is New Town Development Authority, has a tie-up with a telecom service provider and underground ducts or pipes that are laid for pulling optical fiber cables, television cables, and this is perhaps the only place in India where you don't see overhanging television cables and OFC cables, because these are all underneath and very nicely tucked in. Next. The key factors that I mentioned of what makes New Town so attractive, I'll just show a few pictures. On the top left, we can see a smart bus stand near the Coal India. You cannot see it properly, but at the right-hand side where a man is standing with white pants, it is actually a tea shop. So in the bus stand, there is a brisk business of selling teas and snacks, and the shopkeeper also keeps an eye on the very fancy bus stand so that nobody does any mischief, no young boy breaks any glass panel. So he's earning a living, a livelihood is created. Passengers get to buy water and tea and snacks while they wait for the bus, and also acts as a security man. A bus stand producing an employment is something that doesn't happen very often. On the right-hand side, we see the electric buses being run not by the Transport Department of the state, but by a HITCO in KD, that is from Newtown Authority only. Way back 4 years ago, we have started when there was no electric buses in Bengal or in Eastern India. We started specially designed electric buses, air-conditioned, and that was important because when we went to London in 2012, we were told electric buses are there, but ACs don't work because the energy balance would go wrong. But we wanted AC buses to go, and already 3 lakhs, that is 300,000 commuters have availed the services in Newtown. On the top right, on the bottom side, right-hand side, we can see a car parking near the Tata Cancer Center. These are all smart parking. There are embedded sensors. So from your app, you can know which slot is empty, which slot is allotted to you, and there is no dispute. And we can also, from NKDA, monitor revenue collection and optimization very easily. On the left-hand side bottom, talking about EVs, we have 38 EV charging stations all over Newtown already. I don't mean to say these are very, very busy. No, they are not very busy. You won't have to stand in a queue to charge your electric vehicle. But we want to give this message. We want to give this message that EVs are there everywhere. So go in for EV chargers are there everywhere. So go in for EV when you buy your next car, because charging won't be a problem in Newtown. Next. Talking about mobility and EVs and charging stations and buses, I cannot but mention about cycles, cycle tracks, and cycle sharing. When I was in Taiwan, I also saw a lot of cycle sharing schemes. But in Bengal, in the state of Bengal, this is the only public cycle sharing scheme that we have, and it is apps controlled. And also, we have 19 kilometers of dedicated cycle tracks in the city itself, and we are going to expand more. And indeed, we are also making smart cycle stands where the normal working class uses normal cycles and go to the city by bus to work and come back in the afternoon. These cycles used to lie under the sun and the rain, and we have provided a cycle, smart cycle center, you can see at the bottom right-hand side. And I can say in this regard that already Newtown is considered one of the top 5 cycle-friendly cities of India. One minute, please, excuse me.
Yes, no problem, sir.
You also can share your some experience in Taiwan, this cycle track.
Yes. So as Sir has mentioned just now that when he visited Taiwan, he see that we have this infrastructure of sharing bikes. So it is a very common thing in Taiwan that people share bikes, and the government was also trying to reduce the pollution from vehicle. So it was a great thing for me to see this kind of shared bikes in India, because I like to ride bikes, but ever since I moved to India, I haven't found the opportunity or see a very safe roads or very safe path that I feel like I could ride a bike. But ever since that I came to know about this development of shared smart bikes, that we can borrow it from an app, I was quite happy to see it, because then I was given the chance that I can have my hobby back, that during the holidays that we could go on a bike ride to enjoy the view. So I'm sure all of you have seen Newtown if you are from Kolkata, And if you are from Taiwan, definitely do visit Kolkata. And if you go to this side of the town, in New Town, you would see that it has a very different feel from the rest of the city. It is, you can see very clear skies and you can see a lot of greeneries. There are open space that is designed, for example, eco parks. The buildings aren't very, very high. Yes, Stephen?
Thank you, thank you. That was very nice. Please continue.
Yes, and that you don't see a lot of wires. It's not messy, you know. It was very nice for me to see this kind of environment. And sir, you could please continue.
Very much. That enhances my presentation. Anyway, so to come back to the next one, we can go to the next one. Okay, so now it is solar power, talking about green, talking about EVs also. We believe that electric vehicles ultimately should be sourced from solar power, because otherwise it is just burning coal in some other place. So we are laying a very great emphasis on solar power. This is a picture of a solar plant on a canal. So canals are a very good place of placing solar panels because it gets covered, and see, land is very costly. So we have put in a lot of solar canal top plants which pumps energy into the grid. And we have so far been able to add 1.27 megawatt hour peak in a new town. More are happening. Next. I had mentioned about segregation of solid waste. So solid waste is encouraged, not that we are 100% successful, but I would say 70% successful in letting people know that waste needs to be segregated into wet waste and dry waste. And this is a plant that takes in 5 metric ton of waste, wet waste every day, and it digests it to produce methane. And with that methane gas, generator is operated, and with the generator, nearby street lights are operated. So waste to electricity, we are actually having on a pilot scheme, 5 metric ton plant is already there and running. Next. Some other examples that we already have on the top left, that charge during the day, it's not connected to the grid on the side of a canal, and solar lights again on the right hand side. At the bottom right, LoRaWAN speed lighting, that is, we don't use the conventional optical fiber, which is costly, or the GSM or the cellular band, but we use the low range wide area network to access these individual lights to see if anyone is not working or if anyone's intensity needs to be adjusted. That is being done. On the left-hand side down, we have given a picture of a solar tree, more to entertain. There's a bench and a tree-like structure where solar panels are put. But the point to note is that this is part of what we call a smart street. This smart street that is there, where many of the smart components and technologies are concentrated so that it has a demonstration effect on the residents. Next. That smart street that I talked of, please see the picture on the right hand side top, is made up of reused plastic. It is an exaggeration. It is not totally made use of by recycled plastic, but 5% of the bitumen required is replaced by plastics. And these plastics are actually collected from the households of Newtown. So we can tell people that don't throw away your plastic, give it to us in NKDA. We'll put it in the roads it will save us bitumen, and it will save the drains from clogging up. And at the bottom is the zero waste shop. It's a very interesting conception of encouraging people to segregate solid waste into dry and waste. We are saying, give us your dry waste also, and we will use women's group in villages to make small handicraft items and sell it in a very fashionable manner. Next. A few of the smart interventions that we done, that we are using a drone port to monitor COVID-related distance management, social distancing, communicating with the people, reminding them to use masks, and we are doing a lot of very close surveillance. Since we cannot have CCTVs everywhere, whenever there is no CCTV, the work of the CCTV is being done through a drone, and we have drone pilots, drone port, and India has also got a new drone policy, and government of India has decided that India will be the new drone capital of the world. So we are very excited to join this thing, join this race. And of course, at the bottom right-hand corner, there are CCTVs as elsewhere, everywhere, for ensuring safety and security. And if you're speeding too much, you will get a warning and then a fine. And this is all happening automatically using artificial intelligence, machine learning, and database for all motor vehicles that is kept centrally by the transport department. Next. This shows, I have mentioned in brief about the working pods, the happy works. This is just a mention of how it looks like. Very only 20 seats, a private place, air condition, free Wi-Fi, and a very affordable rate of 20 rupees an hour per street. Even by Indian standards, it is very affordable, and young students are very much liking it. Next. So now we will talk about a few partnership opportunities in the last part of my presentation. We do look forward to Taiwanese companies, institutions, and others in these areas in Newtown. Next. Innovation Center being built, not completed yet. It is a designer's view. It is near VIP Road. Target date is October, that is next month if everything is there. So since there is an innovation opportunity in a very busy part of the city of Kolkata, it is actually slightly away from Newtown on the road to airport, and it is very innovatively designed. So if you want to do of innovation, I remember in Taiwan, in Taipei, I was taken to an innovation center. And so if any of them wants to take up a floor space to exhibit Taiwanese innovation, here is the space. Next. A solar dome, a huge solar dome is being built in Newtown in Eco Park. Essentially, it is to impress the man on the street in the need for solar energy, and a round shape made up of flat solar panels. It is done in engineering marvel, 27-meter high, 46-meter in diameter. But while this is expected to be completed within December, the exterior portion, the interior portion for demonstration of energy efficient solar energy materials, everything that you can think of, electric batteries, improved solar panels, interesting use of hydrogen matters. So we are trying to make this an permanent exhibit space for renewable energy matters and products. So there is a twofold objective of reaching out to other people. If you want to showcase, suppose, again, I recall my visit to the Innovation Center in Taipei. They had very interesting colored solar panels. All these solar panels are black. They had very interesting colored solar panels. And if you want to reach the Indian market, perhaps you could take up a stall over here to exhibit all the visitors who would come to the solar dome. That is the business showcasing opportunity. And on the other hand, if you want to take part in creating a museum interior of influencing people, of telling children what to do, and why renewable energy and sustainability matters, you can join our team, you can give us inputs, and you can help the new generation of children get interested in sustainable development. Next. In about 200 acres of prime land is earmarked for tech investments. It is very easy. As I said, online application can be done from anywhere in the world. And at a very affordable price, certain plots are given. Already data centers are being set up. Names such as Reliance, Jio, Tata Communications, Tata TCS, and Airtel, and Nextra, and many other people are coming in, but yet there is space. So we would, and recently it is being open to manufacturing in non-polluting manufacturing components, those who manufacture components of electronic devices, and which of course Taiwan is a master. So I call upon all Taiwanese manufacturers to think of entering the Indian market through the Bengal Silicon Valley. Sitting at your home, you can, or office, you can look at the website and start booking in, and we can have the finest chips. As we all know, Silicon Valley is in, silicon chips are in short supply all over the world. Many automakers are halting their production because they cannot get enough of silicon chips. So it's a win-win situation. Next. We also have, I had talked about clustering and the Wall Street in US. We believe in clustering and financial hub we have made. We are now calling it FinTech Hub because that is what is interesting. That is where the way banking is going. And we already have 27 financial institutions, starting from the State Bank of India, the Bank of Baroda, the Canara Bank, the HDFC Bank, and a lot of others also coming in. Yet there is space. Again, you can apply online. So while Singapore has a very great financial sector, I'm sure there are many others also who are working in the blockchain market, who are working in the fintech market, who are working in the cybercrime market. And if they want to open up into India, into Eastern India, into Kolkata, here is a place that is earmarked for you, where many people are coming in. Next. We are also saying that if you want to have an international conference, and we have a lot of them, conventions, where you want to invite a lot of people, 3,000, 3,200 people, 7,000 people in different halls, with all the modern facilities. It is so fantastic. It is just 2 years old, very freshly built, very innovatively designed, and it is such a fascinating venue for doing workshops, business conferences, symposiums, and exhibitions, that it is already booked 2 or 3 years in advance, sometimes, not all, sometimes. And we have bookings. Before the pandemic, we stopped taking bookings beyond 3 years, but it is booked years in advance. So if you think that you need to do a big convention with all the facilities, very comfortable, with an adjoining co-located 5-star hotel, here is the place to go for. Next. We are having a designing, it is just in the design stage of creating a vertical city. This artist's impression On the top level, there will be residences. On the middle level, there will be startups and office spaces. On the lowest level, there will be retail and commercial spaces. We are saying that in the green building, in the green city, there should be minimum transportation. If you have a 15-minute neighborhood where you get everything, including your workplace, if you can go to your office within 15 minutes of cycling or walking, that is the best way to prevent any kind of environmental pollution. So we are thinking of a vertical city where people can stay, work, and buy in the same building. So it is an ambitious project. We are looking for pre-booking, we are looking for investment, we are looking for construction partner. It is designed to be 40 stories high. We can't go up higher because it is close to the airport and the airport funnel restricts the height. And so that is it. Next. I just want to say that in 3rd June 2021, that is only 2 or 3 months ago, the government of West Bengal in the power department has declared by notification the electric vehicle policy. And I have just quoted Rule 8.11 in this very elaborate document, which is available in the website, which says that New Town Kolkata will be the pilot city for all new initiatives for electric vehicles. So we are very happy to be the pilot city for anything new. So anybody anywhere in the world wants to try anything new on EVs, here is the place to be. And it is for that we are having the EV Carnival from next week. Next. I am towards the close. Our strategy for encouraging electric vehicles is as follows. In the building rules, when you have to make a building, you have to follow a building rule to get your plan sanctioned. We have said that 2% of car parking has to be reserved for EVs, more if it is a large plot. Second, you have to provide for charging infrastructure at home. In many gated communities, housing societies, there is already a conflict that I have bought a EVs, but I want, the society says, I won't allow you to put up a charger. This type of small irritations are happening in the transition. And so we are saying that by rule, you have to provide. There is no question of not providing. We are also, as a part of a strategy for encouraging people, is to have a center of excellence on zero emission vehicles, that is basically EVs. But I have used zero emission vehicles because we are also interested in hydrogen powered vehicles. We don't have much of it in India, but if anybody has, I think, especially in the goods sector, in the big truck sector, there is a very good possibility, but India is not yet open for it. So in the center of excellence, if we could start exhibiting and promoting, maybe someday down the line, people would go for it. And we are also looking at, we are not sure of the technology, wireless charging of buses at bus stops. The electric buses that I showed, which has already carried 300,000 passengers till date in the last 3 years, have to be taken to the station after a few trips for charging, and it wastes time. It would be wonderful, like we charge our mobiles sometimes on wireless chargers without any plugs and things. If we could charge the batteries of buses while they are stopping to pick up passengers, it would be wonderful. I am told it is already being worked at in certain parts of Europe, but we would be interested in this if somebody wants to come in and put it up. And we are also, in a part of our strategy, planning for employee pooling through electric vehicles. What is employee pooling? There is shift duty in the IT companies, in the hospitals, and the staff has to be brought in from their homes and sent back to their homes, often by company rented small vehicles. These are rented, fume emitting, badly maintained, and we are saying that electric vehicles can replace them very easily, because even if they cost a little more, not much, a little more, think of IV, think of CTS, think of Cognizant, they also have a mandate for saving the environment. And we can say that at least your staff will, your own staff, they should be brought in by electric vehicles. Many are already moving in this direction. And we, instead of replacing the whole of anybody who gets into a car into an EV, we are saying this employee pooling should.
Hello, sir. We are unable to hear you. Okay. Yeah, now you're back.
Next slide.
Okay.
Yeah. So talking of a strategy, finance option is also what we are looking at.
Hello. Sir, I think there is a little connection issue. Okay, let's give it a few seconds. Okay, I think sir will be joining back very soon, but let's give it a minute.
Okay, so Pia, may I say something?
Yes, Stephen, please share with us.
Yeah, because today we are very lucky to have a Debashisen to introduce to us, because Debashisen is very famous in Kolkata city. He a little bit like mayor in Newtown. Yeah. Then recently Kolkata is heavy raining, so internet is not so well. And today in our meeting, not only the audience, not only from Taiwan, even Singapore, even Philippines also have some EV player join to today's meeting. Yeah. So I think the question is fake or no?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. So, Pia, how many pages we remaining?
Just a second.
Yeah. Maybe here. Oh, here.
We have just 2 pages remaining.
Okay, because Carnival is changed to 1st October, right?
Ah.
So, how about we keep going on? Let's Ambalika introduce. Then
Okay,
wait,
sure.
Sure.
Once he is back, we will complete the next 2 pages. Okay, 好. So next, I'm going to invite Miss Ambalika Ganguly. She will be sharing with us today. Ambalika, why don't you share with us what will be your topic?
Okay, good morning, everyone. I am just going to take you through.
I'm so sorry. Just 1 second. Just 1 second.
Yes. Sorry.
Oh, okay, no problem, no problem.
Can we go back to the presentation?
Sure.
Hello, sir.
Sorry.
Yes.
I have some technical problem.
No problem. We can see you now and we can hear you very clearly.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm almost to last 2 slides. These are guidelines for conversion of traditional vehicle to EV. That is also we are trying conversion kits, multi-fuel charging hubs, electric car sharing in the city, delivery through Swiggy, Zomato, etc. If we could do by electric vehicles, including 2-wheelers. These are part of our strategy to promote EVs. So point I'm making is, everywhere, therefore, there is a business opportunity. When I say that we are encouraging from the government of using Swiggy, Zomato, delivery boys through electric scooters, so Ola e-scooters is something that comes to my mind. So why not so many other e-scooter manufacturers around the globe? They have a very good opportunity here. Next. This date is to be changed. On the left-hand side, we are having bad weather. So on the 1st to 3rd October, we are having this electric vehicle carnival, as I already mentioned. And I welcome all of you to be here if you can. Next. Yes, very good. Thank you. Thank you for changing that. 1st to 3rd October. Very good. Next, I think that's the last one. This is the Bisho Bangla Gate, or the hanging restaurant as we call it. This is the icon of New Kolkata. The old Kolkata is represented by Howrah Bridge. This is the new Kolkata. This is where the future lies. This is where we invite everybody to come and be a partner. Thank you very much.
Sir, thank you so much for sharing all this insightful and all this very exciting ideas that to be implementing in Newtown. I am, after hearing the presentation, I'm so happy I'm here and really looking forward to see the future look of Newtown. Thank you. How? Okay, so next I would like to invite Ambalika once again. Hello, Ambalika.
Hello, everyone.
Before
Yes,
everybody,
yes.
I want to say something to
Sure,
thank
sure.
give today's presentation. Because today our audience is not only in Kolkata, it's also from India. Like we have Mahindra from Chennai, we have a Green Tech from Chennai, and we have Ola Electric from Bangalore. So not only Taiwan company, because now during the COVID, they are not easy to come to Kolkata. But if you are in domestic in India, welcome, come to Kolkata. We can accompany you to take a look at Newtown. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, is everyone able to see the PowerPoint?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Ambalika, please take it from here.
Thank you, Pia. And I would really like to thank Mr. Devashish Sen for introducing my new town. I'd like to call it that way. And for putting it out. So this was extremely insightful for all of us. So now I would like to introduce all of you guys to the other side of the world. Let's move towards Taiwan now. So this is about Taiwan green energy and how the industry, about the renewable energy, about e-vehicles and everything is working out in Taiwan. The next slide, please, Pia. So what exactly is happening in Taiwan currently? Taiwan is one of the 16 out of the world's 20 most ideal wind sites as are located in Taiwan. And Taiwan is a very small island with a central mountain range covering 2/3 of the total area, which is also lacking a lot of resource to generate electricity. However, they're trying really hard. According to Bureau of Energy in 2018, Taiwan imported almost about 98% of its total energy supply. Therefore, it is really very important to stop relying on importing fossil fuels for now. So they're trying to be independent and getting into the energy supplies. Taiwan has a very high solar irradiance with annual average as high as 2,000 kilowatt per hour. And many great tech giants, so as to call them green tech giants suppliers, are investing in Taiwan. And they are one of the second largest PV cell manufacturer in the world. So the development of renewable energy in Taiwan has gone through many phases and government making policies according to some geographical advantages of Taiwan. Next slide, please. So what is the plan of Taiwan? So 2025 renewable energy targets in Taiwan. Taiwan is investing in PV, onshore wind, offshore wind. It focuses on the rooftop PV and aquavoltaics so far, according to the 2021 solar targets. Compared to 2020, addition of 2.2 gigawatt has been installed capacity by the end of this year. And of the offshore wind project, the installed capacity is expected to reach about 5.7 gigawatts by 2025. Another 10 gigawatts should be installed by 2035. This is basically giving you an idea about what are their future plans in nuclear energy, nuclear power, and the renewable energy. So by 2025, the power generated by the nuclear should be decreased to 0%, and renewable energy should be taken up to 20%. So in order to achieve the goal by around from 2025, Taiwan has announced a new solar plan and with new investment and business strategies. Next slide, please. So I'm going to take you through who are the basic players, the key players in working for Taiwan, which is Taiwan's key towards the international success. So there are these three companies. There are, of course, many. However, Sunrise E&T Corporation, Swancore Renewable Energy, and Sysgration Limited are great players in the renewable energy sectors, and I'm going to be introducing their work and how they are planning to take Taiwan forward in the green energy sector. The Taiwanese government has been encouraging various industries to undergo green energy transition, and it aims to have about 20% of the nation's power supplied by renewable sources by 2025, and further proposes accomplishing the goal of the net zero emissions transition by 2050. So sensing great potential in the renewable energy market, Taiwanese businesses have come to invest in the market, and they are attaining remarkable results. Next slide, please. So Sunrise E&T Corporation is the company, one of the great ones. So the installing floating solar systems, dams, or the hydropower plants not only alleviates the problem of low electricity generation hydropower plants face during the day, but can also effectively reduce water loss from the reservoir caused by evaporation. Very rightly mentioned by Mr. Debashish Sen in his through his presentation as well, that the more water, the floating solar systems installation areas, for that we need more water bodies. So this is going on the same line. Solar fishery pioneers, Sunrise is one of them, corporation taking on the global green energy market hugely. So because the temperatures on water surfaces are lower than that of the land, floating solar systems can generate about 10% more power than their land counterparts. So the more the water powers, it is basically helping the solar power industries to invest more in geographical areas which has more of water bodies. Sunrise E&T Corporation's chairman, Tung Su, also says that floating solar systems allows nations with relatively small landmass but high sunshine to be able to develop more solar power. Next slide, please. Next, I'm going to talk about Swancore Renewable Energy. Swancore Renewable Energy is another company from Taiwan. They are of course known for their excellence in offshore power spreads in wings in Asia alongside industry chain partners. Swancore is also known for construction of the offshore wind sites like the Formosa 1, Formosa 2, and even took the initiative to start the Formosa 4-1. So Taiwan's unique geographical advantage has created basically great prosperity for the nation's offshore wind power industry. Swancore, not only are they familiar with the technologies for the offshore wind power projects, but they're also experienced in working with international contractors. So they know how to lower the financial risks of the projects through project financing, proper financing and understanding, and the state-of-the-art needs of the offshore wind power in both Taiwan and the entire of the Asian regions. So more importantly, the farms that they have been involved are with all the seeing the great opportunities or the great returns that are in store for them are really operating smoothly. So that is Swancore Renewable Energy taking Taiwan places. Next slide, please. Now, this is Sysgration Limited. So all this while, we've been talking about a lot of energy production units and how to set up. So we also have to, at the same time, think of how to store the similar energies. So the storage of the renewable energies is also a part that we need to throw some light on. So since renewable energy is a type of variable energy, maintaining the long-term and consistency of the supply of the power is definitely an issue, and that every renewable energy company must be concerned with. So in fact, this is why the smart energy storage systems have been so greatly anticipated in the market. So Sysgration Limited maximizes this renewable energy utilization with smart power storage. General Manager of Sysgration Limited, Tung Su, says that smart energy storage systems provides 3 critical functions: energy storage, output smoothing, and energy coordination. So these functions will not only allow the renewable energy that we are creating, renewable energy suppliers, to stabilize energy, but also perform time shifting by reserving renewable energy to be supplied to the grid at designated peak periods to maximize the energy utilization. So that is Sysgration Limited doing the wonders in this area. Next slide, please. Taiwan's energy sources and the usage. So here, this slide gives you a little bit of an idea of how exactly the entire energy source of Taiwan is utilized and distributed. The first diagram is, of course, showing you coal-fired energy has been 47%, oil-fired has been 5%, LNG-fired has been 35%, nuclear 8%, and then that mere 5% is the renewable energy. And from that renewable energy, we have another diagram taking us to wind energy being 14%, solar PV 14%, biomass 1%, conventional hydropower is 44%. And of course, we have to keep in mind there is a lot of waste as well, since it's a variable energy, that there is 27% of wastage, which has also been seen. Next slide, please. And then now we talk about the India's entire energy sources, India's energy sources and their uses. So here the first diagram says that in India, we have coal about 59.8%, hydro 14%, gas 8%, renewable energy 16%. And so which is way higher, right? So this amount, to the next slide, to the next diagram, shows that out of this 16.1% renewable energy that India uses, solar is 2.9%, wind is 9.2%, biopower is 2.6%, small hydro is 1.4%, and a very less amount of waste to power, which is 0.04%. So India is one of the world's fastest growing economies, as we all know, and with rapid commercialization has led to the nation's increased carbon footprint. In order to make India cleaner and greener, one of the most feasible ways is to adopt alternative energy sources such as wind and solar. So the country is among the largest renewable energy markets in the world, ranking 3rd in solar, 4th in wind, 5th in hydro and solar. The country is amongst the largest expansion. It's ongoing their largest expansion plan for the renewable energy, almost 5 times more increase of the installed capacity of the 450 gigawatt by 2030. So the government has plans to set up over about 50 solar parks and ultra mega solar power projects targeting over 40,000 megawatt of capacity. Next slide, please. The next slide basically takes you through the estimated potential of the total estimates of the reserves that we have all over India, with the help of the Indian map, showing that what are the areas exactly we have the solar, the concentration of the various kinds of solar power, reserves, the estimated ranges. Next slide, please. Now let's quickly talk about future prospects between India and Taiwan. So where exactly do we come about and think of shaking hands and moving ahead, where India and Taiwan could be partnering? So there are a few things which are taking rounds in the news. Taiwan is to be Asia's green energy hub, and it is becoming India-focused country. And Taiwan also has its Taipei Economic and Cultural Center in New Delhi and trade offices all over. So in 2016, Taiwan has unveiled its new southbound policy and designated India as their focus country. What is attracting them to India is said to be the government's decision to reduce the corporate tax and the huge domestic market. And India being one of the largest players in the renewable energy market, Taiwan is definitely thinking of joining hands with India. It is interested in India as an alternative investment destination as well, compared to the other Asian countries. So Taiwan wants to be the renewable energy hub, and its businesses are looking at India as an investment destination in the sector. Besides high technology, Indian renewable energy sector has been one of the most attractive renewable energy market in the world. So that is definitely pulling Taiwan towards itself. And India is one of the home of the largest clean energy expansion programs as well. So support from the government and the foreign investors is driving this growth. So there is still more the state can do to support this transition. So let us see how in future does India and Taiwan join hands for a better future ahead. Next slide, please. These slide is talking about carbon tax. Now, this is an idea that has been taking rounds. I'll quickly give you an idea about what exactly carbon tax, if you are unaware of. A carbon tax is the tax levied on the carbon emissions required to produce goods and services. So carbon taxes are intended to make visible the hidden social costs of carbon emissions, which are otherwise felt only in indirect ways, like more severe weather events. So in this way, they are designated to reduce the carbon dioxide emissions by increasing the prices. So this both decreases demand for such goods and services and incentivizes efforts to make them less carbon intensive. So there are loads of initiative that has been taken over by India to reduce its carbon footprints. There has been NRDC's India initiative on the climate change and clean energy. There has been PepsiCo India, who has taken over Waste to Wealth, that is their campaign known as Initiative to Save the Himalayas campaign, National Action Plan on Climate Change, National Wetland projects. So there are various such projects that have been taken over to basically lessen the carbon tax instead of putting in, going ahead towards the carbon tax, because later we'll be knowing that carbon tax basically is somewhere affecting the trade of the countries. So how carbon emission is destroying the earth and what exactly is it meaning for humans, because it is almost causing 200 billion damage, the same amount as about 4 years of war. So we definitely had to be aware of how this carbon tax is affecting the economy, the trade of a country, and how we can manage it with the various initiatives taken by the Indian government in India and the other countries as well. Next slide, please. This is just an idea, which is ESG, environmental, social, and social governance. Environmental, social, and governance is basically a criteria which is an interest, which shows about a company, about their investors and about other stakeholders, with this growing concern about the ethical status of the quoted companies. These standards are the central factors that will measure the ethical impact and the sustainability of the investment in a company. So ESG is basically the environmental, social, and the governance sector of a company. So human rights, supply chain standards, the labor management, health and safety, human capital development, that comes under the social responsibilities of a company. The environmental responsibilities is the climate change, the national resources, the pollution and the waste, the biodiversity, and then of course the governance, corporate governance, corruption and instability, executive pay, board diversity, business ethics. So all these three include a criteria or a quality of a company to show us how much is a company good enough for an internal investor to be investing in that company, basically. So two ways of reducing emission also could be a direct carbon taxing, which we are trying to avoid, and cap and trade with other companies. So these are a few concerns that we all need to be aware of when we talk about renewable energy, about e-vehicles, so that a proper investment and proper trade can happen in future, and we can move forward for a better world ahead. Next slide, please, Pia. And so my topic has ended for now. However, I'm going to quickly give you an idea about my company. What do I do for them? Taiwan's trade. So I am working for the Taiwan World Trade Center in here. Taiwan is the trade promotional organization, this Taiwan World Trade Center. We have TITRA, we have TWTC, we have TTC. These are basically, they network, they help businesses connect with the global market. We have the founding year was 1970 with 1,300 specialists, 5 offices in Taiwan and 63 offices worldwide. Next slide, please. And in India, TITRA has about 4 offices, 1 in Delhi, 1 in Bombay, 1 in Calcutta. Mr. Stephen Liu is heading that, and 1 in Chennai. Next slide, please. So what we do is we meet suppliers online where there are a few pre-arranged meetings. I'll give you an idea of what is happening in the coming month. We have the Taiwan Expo that is coming up for 2021. It is happening from the 27th to the 29th October. It is a free event wherein we will be connecting global buyers with quality Taiwanese suppliers from the sectors of the hand tools, the medical, smart homes, machinery, then fitness, green energy, e-vehicles. So this gives you, this slide also has pictures of few of our colleagues organizing the meetings. This is what we do in here. The next slide, please. The next slide is not a shock, it's just a thank you for you to be more patient for my next colleague to join in. And for this, I would just like to thank every one of you for being a part of this event this morning. And let us just go ahead for a growing, better world together. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Ambalika, for your very, very informative presentation. I'm sure we have all learned a lot from this presentation and looking forward to seeing what we can do about it and what opportunities we can create later. I will next invite Ms. Ritika Nandi to talk to us about... Yes, Ritika?
Nothing.
Just a second. Okay. The Taiwan EV Industry Intro E-Mobility 2035. Ritika, can you please take it from here?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Tai. So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining Taiwan and Newtown Green Trend webinar today. My name is Ritika Nandi and I work in TWTC Kolkata as Trade Promotion Specialist. Today, I am going to do a presentation about Taiwan EV industry and e-mobility 2035. Next slide, please. So in this upcoming slide, I'm going to cover Taiwan electrical vehicle developing environment, the ongoing cases between Taiwan and India, and how to cooperate with Taiwanese company. Next slide, please. So in this slide, I'm going to talk about Taiwan EV components used by Tesla, which is a very renowned electrical vehicle company worldwide. According to the statistical data of the Taiwan Telematics Industry Association, 30 to 40% of parts and components used in the Tesla Roadster, the first generation EV sports car, are provided by Taiwanese manufacturers. Tesla uses many components of Taiwan, such as batteries, core Mac, Makima, electronic components Delta, CSC of Fukuda company, and etc. Next slide, please. So in this slide, I'm going to talk about why Taiwan is the best choice. So Taiwan is the best choice because of its ability to provide convenient procurement solutions with its mature supply chain. It reduces the cost of purchase, inventory, and product management, and enhances the competitiveness of those enterprises. Next slide, please. So in this slide, I'm going to talk about Taiwan high performance in electronic components. So with sophisticated techniques for electronic components production and high yield rate, Taiwan is highly accredited by the world. It is common to find components made in Taiwan in various electronic products of global manufacturers. Since IC Foundry in Taiwan enjoys a market share of 70% in the global semiconductor, foundry market, and IC packaging or testing in Taiwan accounts for 58% of the market share in the global market. Next slide, please. So after talking about so many numbers and data, please allow me to present two real life ongoing cases of Taiwan and India companies working together as joint venture. So the first ongoing case is Hero Motocorp and Gogoro. So be the future of mobility, which they are bringing alive through their mission to create, collaborate, and inspire, today marks another major milestone in their journey. As they bring Hero's leadership in two-wheelers, their global scale and innovation powerhouse with the leadership of Kogoro in the swapping business model. As they have demonstrated over the years in Taiwan and rest of the world, said Dr. Pawan Munjal, Chairman and CEO of Hero Motocorp. Next slide, please. So the next ongoing case I'm going to talk about is Renault India and Ahamani. The initial offerings of the company would include LFP, which stands for lithium ferrous phosphate, and NMC battery packs for two-wheeler and three-wheeler EVs, which will be customized as per the industry requirements. They see India to lead the race of EVs globally in the coming future and are very determined to be a catalyst in this growth. Enlightens Ankit Kumar, Director and Chief of Strategy, Ahamani, on the product line. The joint venture, apart from offering advanced technology, also aims to tackle numerous battery-related challenges like cost, energy, density, lifestyle, charging time, and safety. It also ensures stable supply capacity and have effective recycling structures. Next slide, please. So in this slide, I'm going to talk about how to cooperate with Taiwanese companies. So Taiwanese manufacturers can perform rapid sampling for small volume, multiple types products. Moreover, they cooperate with clients to realize agile development of samples for automotive components and system modules, including chips, PC hardware, lens, software, and human-machine interface integration. Taiwanese manufacturers can also create new business models and services according to client needs by integrating software in building EV charging stations. Charging equipment manufacturers such as Delta, Pegatron, and KST have been included in the supply chain of automotive companies in the US and Europe, and thus they have wide range of experience. Next slide, please. So in this slide, I'm going to talk about joint and agile development of samples for the automotive industry. So rapid product development. It takes at least 5 years for a conventional car maker to develop a new product, whereas it takes only 2 years for Tesla With the help of Taiwan's integrated EV ecosystem and mature ICT industry, the development stage can be considerably shortened. Economical sampling with great techniques. Suppliers in a wide range of fields are available to make through assessment. For automotive products, security is the top priority. Suppliers in Taiwan has also the experience of working with global companies. In the early stage of development, customers will be assisted to make a thorough assessment of the prototype. Next slide, please. So in this slide, I'm going to talk about the joint creation of new business models and services. So sharing economy has given birth to the mobility sharing platform that stands for MAAS. Although sharing economy is still growing, electric scooter companies launch end-to-end mobility sharing platforms. Secondly, there is charging solutions. So the platform of Nodu EVOS is committed to create an EV-friendly environment for charging through cloud management. And lastly, there is cross-industry alliance to create a win-win situation. Intelligent electric bus management system developed by Advantech was tested in Vingroup headquarters, Vietnam, through the collaboration of Winbus Vietnam. Next slide, please. So in this slide, I'm going to talk about joint creation of EV infrastructure. Taiwan is the primary supplier of power supplies and has been providing power supplies worldwide since 1980s, with achievements especially in areas such as EMI, high wattage and efficiency accounting for 30% of world production. With their long expertise in power supply in the coming EV era, the country can cooperate with companies around the world to construct EV infrastructure. Next slide, please. So in this slide, I'm going to talk about how Taitra can assist Taiwan ecosystem to shine on the international stage. So to make it easier for Taiwanese companies to seize business opportunities in the global EV market, Taitra has also organized a new international exhibition called 2035 E-Mobility Taiwan that is coming this October. Furthermore, through coverage of international media, reports, and promotional videos, companies around the globe can fully understand the potential of Taiwan industries. Taiwan will also create a website that is http://www.taiwanevmap.organization for Taiwan ecosystem. Next slide, please. So on this upcoming slide, I'm going to talk about the e-mobility event. Next slide, please. So what is the vision of holding this event? So the vision of holding this show in Taiwan is to build a complete EV and autonomous driving car ecosystem. Also, the show can offer a great platform for exploring business opportunities, exchanging ideas, and establishing future e-mobility business models. 2035 E-Mobility Taiwan is a hybrid trade show which will be carried out online, whereas the online exhibition will last only for a month from October 20 to November 20. Next slide, please. So I'm going to talk about our key exhibitor of this event. So Delta Light on KST will demo their latest EV charging solutions and equipments. Master Bus will also be joining this event. So luckily we have Master Bus representative joining our webinar. So sir, are you still there? Hello. I guess there is connection problem. So he has joined this event recently. I think there must be some connection issues. So moving on, and there is RAC electric vehicles are also the major EV and autonomous bus manufacturers in Taiwan. IOV and autonomous driving applications. We have Kingway and Claytron. Also, the largest car sharing and renting platform provider, Hotai Connected Company Limited, Yoxi and Irene will also join the show as well. Next slide, please. So in this slide, I'm going to talk briefly how to participate in 2035 e-mobility Taiwan. So in order to conquer the difficulties brought by the pandemic, we have launched 2035 e-mobility Taiwan online, which is a virtual show. So that online show will take 1 month from October 20 to November 20, and it provides all the exhibitors a 24/7 non-stop showcasing opportunity with multiple interactive methods. Exhibitors can meet global partners even beyond the border control as well. Next slide, please. So we have reached to the final slide of the presentation. If you need any service or assistance from us, you can contact me on the details provided on the screen, and you may take the screenshot as well. And I will be really glad to help you out on this. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Vidika, for this wonderful presentation. Okay, so now that all the presentation has been completed, we will move to our Q&A and social session. So during this session, I would like to invite all of you to share with us some of your feedback, or if there is any queries you have towards our speakers today, you could bring up the question and they will answer to you personally.
Good afternoon. My name is Arup Guha. I have a question for Elena if she is there.
I think Miss Alina has already left the meeting, but you can still share your question. I think Mr. Stephen Liu, if she knows, if he would know the answers, he will answer you.
All right. My question is, when I was going through the presentation of both Elena and Devashi Sen, on the electric cars, we have seen the power stations or the station of charging. Now, my question will be that what precautions need to be taken if there is any spark or fire for these stations where, for the normal petrol pumps, we know that we have the fire extinguishers and things. For these stations, what are the precautions that has to be taken? And similarly at home, if I am going to have a charger like this, what precaution should be taken by us?
So this is a safety issue, right? The charger put in the house is safe or not?
Or the station from where I am charging, you know,
Yeah.
like charger station is in Newtown, which has been shown to us. Similarly, what precautions to be taken by the charging station? Similarly, by the home when I have, or in a gated community if I am having a charging station.
So I think in the charger stand, they have some firewall design in there. They already have the security.
I think the design of the power stand itself should have like a trigger that if in case the electricity leaks or a fire comes, I think the stand itself would trigger either an alert to the e-vehicle company, or maybe it itself could have a design that extinguish fires.
Or because today we have so many Taiwan company, they are working on this one, or who can help to answer this question, because this is a little bit technical.
I would like to invite if some of the e-vehicle companies from Taiwan, you have this understanding on the design of the e-vehicle charging stand. Has it ever happened that the power leaks or there's fire of it, and what happens then?
Okay, then if not, then I will asking some professional person. Then I go to Arup's office, visiting him, then bring the answer to him. It's okay. because
Thank you.
our office is nearby. It's too difficult. This question.
Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Okay, and next I have received a question in the chat box from Mr. Navonil Das, asking that whether there will be plans to focus on the training of existing workforce as well as the technical students who will be maintaining and repairing the e-vehicles. I think this question was also for Mr. Debashish Sen, right? But unfortunately, he has already left the meeting due to his schedule.
And Balika can help answer this question.
Mm.
And Balika, please answer this question.
Pia, could you just repeat
Sure.
me once again?
Mr. Das was wondering that whether there will be plans of focusing on the training of the workforce, as in people students who study technical wise, or people who could maintain and repair the e-vehicles.
I think according to what I could gather from Mr. Debashish's presentation, there are plans of, insightful, there are a few innovation centers that he's coming up with and various other domes where a proper training can happen. However, he didn't really focus on particular training of students. So I wouldn't know about the training part as such, but yes, there are definitely a lot of opportunities for, anyone who is coming up with new ideas and wants to incorporate and wants to get in touch with HIPCO, and he would take it further. So what we could do is we could connect you to Mr. Debashish Sen and his team who could take you further on this. But as far as your question, which is for training, whether there are any institutes for the training, that hasn't been highlighted through his presentation.
Okay, thank you so much, Ambalika. Mr. Das, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, can I add something here?
Yes,
this
please.
Is Navonil Das.
Yes, sir. Mr. Das, please tell.
So I am representing GIZ. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, sure. So I am representing GIZ, which is the German Development Corporation for International Development. So I am basically looking after the e-vehicle cluster in Kolkata, and we're already working with the government of West Bengal in developing syllabus and content for the polytechnic students. So we're also focusing on training of ITI grade students, and also my main objective for in today's meeting. Yeah, no problem. So the main objective for me to join this webinar was to understand what is your take on training. When I'm talking about training, I'm talking about training of students and training of existing workforce. So when this vehicles are in India operating, running everywhere, we need a fleet of people to maintain and repair them. It's not going to not a one or two, just like all the garages you have, or the repairing stations you have right now in Kolkata and everywhere, where you will take your vehicle or bike for repairing. Like Ola is already setting up this repairing stations for their bikes. But when these vehicles are coming to India, like already the buses and everything, so since I'm a part of the PhD group, which is the private sector development, so connecting with private enterprises or private organization is also one of my mandates in GIZ. So if possible, you have my email ID or something.
Yes.
If we can maybe a one-to-one meeting regarding this in future, maybe offline or online, because the pandemic is also still there. So we can have a phone call also, and maybe we can discuss about this and think if it is possible to work on this in future in a more integrated way.
Yeah, I think Mr. Das, your concern is very on point and very interesting, of course, because very important rather, because the training for any kind of setting up, the training part is very important. So today's presentation didn't really highlight the training part, but I'm sure since he has laid out, the entire green Newtown, the ideas and the future prospects of Newtown so well. I'm sure there is some kind of an internal training that definitely occurs, but more insight can of course be given by Mr. Debashish Sen, and we'll be very happy to connect you with him for this topic. But thank you for bringing it on.
No, you can reply the email to us, and we will forward. We will collect all the questions, forward to government, West Bengal government. So, Mr. Das, so you from which city? Which city you from? Are you in Kolkata or in other city?
Yeah, I'm in Kolkata only.
He's from Kolkata.
Yeah, so it's okay. You send us an email, and we forward to Debashish Sen.
Yes.
Yeah, no problem. Okay.
Yes,
so,
yes, that's what I proposed also. That maybe after this session is over, I can write an email to you, and then we can take it forward if there is any possibility.
Yeah, good.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Das. And next we have Mr. Sanjay Ketan Biswal. Can you please share with us what is your question?
Hi everyone, this is Sanjay, and I am representing OMJ EV Limited from Bhubaneswar, Odisha, India. And my basic question is that as you know that Government of India has come up with FAME 2 regulation and all, and where the government want us to manufacture most of the component in India. So how does this Taiwanese supplier can supply to us, or can set up a tie-up or a manufacturing setup in India so that we can take the advantage?
Okay, Ambalika, what do you think?
I think if you're talking about the setup, like, are you talking about collaborating, how you could collaborate with the Taiwanese companies? Is that what you mean? That's what I could gather.
Yes, basically.
Yes, so what we could do is, once again, you could write to us with whatever ideas and thoughts or, that you have in your mind. And then we could try to connect you with the suitable, people in Taiwan. Who could, if you have the ideas on what are the kind of people who you are wanting to get connected to, and we could take this forward. Best is that if you could write it down to us via an email, we could go ahead with this. Or else, if there is any Taiwanese companies who joined the webinar who's still online with us, do we have anyone in the participants?
Yeah, we still have a Taiwan company, a participant.
Yeah. If anyone would like to throw some light on this topic and this question that he has come up with. If not, then we could definitely forward your question to the Taiwanese companies and the government.
Anyone? Okay, if not, then
有台湾的厂商想要跟这印度的厂商交流吗？补充意见的朋友 ，EV 这方面的。
Yeah, I have a question.
没事，那我们就 move 到下一个问题好了。
Okay, 好。Okay, how? So just a second, let me take, Mr. Biswal, so right now I think the best solution is if you write to us and we will find a suitable supplier or a company to take on the discussion further. So next I will have Mr. Tiwari. He has shared two questions. The first one I will start is that, yes? How is the electrical charges variations are addressed for the unstable power supply, especially for recharging? I think this is also a very technical question.
Yeah.
This is also a very technical question.
Okay. Sorry, greetings of the day.
Oh.
My introduction is I'm advisor Park. And what I'm humbly submitting is that, we are going to have these problems. Assuming we've got a perfect product that comes in from Taiwan, right?
Ah.
Now, when we are looking into the unstable power supply, which I mean in terms of amperages, voltages, etc., okay, we are going to have a major head-on collision. Now, if suppose, let's say in Delhi, we manage to stabilize something, but the same thing is not going to happen in Uttarakhand, is not going to happen in UP or anywhere else. So therefore, the mileage that the e-vehicle can do as a conversion from the fossil fuels, only yesterday the WHO has come up with new specs, on the pollution, etc. Right? Now, if you look at that, does the e-vehicle as it stands addresses that question one? That's why I started from the stability first, right? The second part of that, which is a corollary to that, is that given that scenario, Delhi is thick with pollution as Beijing, right? Now, given that situation, as you move from here to another part, maybe towards the Himalayan hills, so you get a better spectrum of the pollution, and so maybe you get a better average. But then again, we come to the instability of the power supply. So that's a rider of what I said earlier. Number two part is that my humble submission is that Taiwan should have an incubator cell, in India, right? Why am I requesting Thai and all the people from Taiwan is that, yeah, for example, I do mentoring for IITs, right? Now, if you look at the IITs or any RECs, our academicians are great, but when you're connecting it on the road, on the ground, there is a lot of problems because everything is different, the laws, the policies, etc., etc. And because of that high test, we cannot achieve. That's at ground. So I normally do is two or so, and nothing more, and they are all unicorns. The third part of it is extremely important, is that keeping all these problems, we as an organization, we have our own startup which is generating under a global patent, which is generating power from the normal wind, right? So you're not consuming any fossil fuels, you're not consuming anything. With that given engine of yours, we just use a certain amount of wind speeds with IoTs and nanofilters and what you call gyro generators. So if it is a diesel fuel, if it is petrol fuel, if it is with batteries, with electrical charge, everything costs and everything has a carbon footprint. Wind has no carbon footprint. You know what I'm coming to. And whatever India is doing as in the climate change, Taiwan puts this kind of an incubator in India, I think we can go miles, and nobody can defeat us. That was my humble submission. I put in my email ID and WhatsApp number. Okay, thank you.
Okay, sure. And thank you for your kind words from our side. We too are also looking forward that Taiwan and India on e-vehicle and greener, to build a greener country, a greener world, that we could achieve better standard, or we can have some good achievement. Okay, so Mr. Abhishek Sharma.
Yes, good afternoon, Tai. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you. And good afternoon, Mr. Steven and entire team Taitra. First of all, I would like to congratulate all of you for holding such a informative webinar on the EV topic. And I am from Rukmini Energy Private Limited. We are basically into solar energy business since 2011 in India. And being motivated by today's webinar and the information being shared by you, and particularly Ritika's presentation on how Taiwan and Taiwanese company can collaborate with Indian companies, and we can come up with some exclusive solutions for the planet. So being motivated by that, we would like to explore some business opportunities on how to integrate renewable energy for EV charging, particularly solar. We would like to collaborate with some Taiwanese companies who can collaborate and who can offer solutions as well as technology, because we believe if you are using EV, that is very good. It is a noble cause for protecting the environment. But if the power to charge the EV is coming from a thermal power source, then it is not creating any good for the environment in the larger picture. So your charging source, if we can collect it from renewable energy, I think that will be the double bonanza. And then it can be of something really good. It
I
will have a
think you
meaning.
have, yes, I think you have bring up a very important point in this entire e-vehicle development, that the purpose is to be green, but whether the path, the
That's right.
methods that we are taking is also green. Yes.
That's right. So if some Taiwan expert companies who have some sort of expertise or they have developed some solutions, if they can collaborate and they can transfer technology as well as they can collaborate in such type of ventures where we can integrate renewable energy for EV charging, then I think that will be a good opportunity, and we will be welcome. We will be hopeful to collaborate with them,
we are
and we
happy
will
to-
need Taitra's support in this.
Yeah. We are happy to arrange you one-on-one meeting for you online by Skype, by Zoom. Yeah, as your
Yeah,
and
we'll see
then
to it,
detail.
Mr. Stephen.
Ritika,
Thank
can
you.
you say
We've
something
always
about it?
had you with us, Mr. Vishek.
Yeah, Ritika can say something.
Earlier.
Yeah, because he's
Yeah,
interesting
so-
about your industry. Yeah.
Yeah, so as you said, whatever insights you have provided us, it's a very good insight. And as I was saying that you could, we could arrange an online meeting for you. You have my contact details. So I have provided you with my contact details. I would like to again connect with you after the meeting so that we could go on with an online meeting, and hopefully you could also do a collaboration with Taiwanese EV company.
Yeah, if you can provide
Yeah,
us the
sure.
product detail, which product, the detail, we can find a supplier to you. Yeah.
Yeah,
More
because
clear
if
you provide, then
this thing is there, then I think it will be a useful thing, and we will be able to contribute in our humble way for the
Sure,
society.
Yeah, this is our job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much once
Thank you
again
so much, Mr.
to the
Sharma.
entire team of Taitra and all the efforts you have put. Thank you and congratulations. Although the webinar ran behind the schedule, but
Yes.
it's okay. Yeah, it's okay for the larger good. We are all participating, and I would like to congratulate you all people. Thank you very much for all
Thank
your good
you.
efforts. Thank you.
Yes,
Bye-bye.
sir. And
Bye-bye.
finally, I will read a last feedback from Aparajita Solar, saying that thank you for inviting us to participate in such wonderful webinar conducted today. I'm sure it will get more insight and business-oriented training and business support during upcoming days too. So overall, thank you everyone for your feedback, your sharings, your questions, and it is truly excited to see that everyone from Taiwan, Kolkata, and everywhere in India being so excited over this trends of e-vehicle and to build a greener society, a greener environment.